CB Lindsay from the Shaving Cadre forum, shavingcadre.com. What I'm going to do this evening is kind of show the differences in lather between different kinds of soap. This isn't a lather review or lather tutorial. What this is it's a way to kind of show that there are different kinds of lather that you get from different kinds of soap. I've said it before, and recently I used a melt and pour base that confused me a little bit, but it made me realize that it's just another different kind of soap. So what I'm going to do today is I have as many as 6. I may only do 5. Tallow-based long rifle. They at one point they used to call themselves, they say it was an Italian cream. I love that soap. Victory Shaving Company. This one is, the reason this is included is this one uses soy as the source of stearic acid, and it includes olive oil, something that we usually associate with bad soap. I also have Williams Tonsorial mashed with D.R. Harris Marlboro. This is an excellent example of kind of a more vintage style tallow. And the Shaving Shop, no particular reason this is here other than the fact that this is a very basic vegan soap. Stearic acid, coconut oil, nothing much more. Okay, that way we can get a good example of a vegan soap. And I've got Honeybee soaps. This is the melt and pour base with shea butter. And I haven't test lathered the Fireside, but it smells pretty good. If we get around to it, I'll also do Sterling. Sterling is a tallow soap similar to Long Rifle or Williams, but it's included in here because they use coconut milk. They use a couple of different things that make it unique, and Sterling's really kind of one of the go-to soaps that a lot of people recommend. Okay. We're going to do bowl lathering, and I'm going to use a 26 millimeter tuxedo knot in my little shotgun shell handle. It's not as fun to use as it looks, but we'll use it. I've had these soaps blooming for maybe a half hour, so they're well bloomed. They're all bloomed because some of them perform better that way, some of them don't, but now they're all on an even playing field. We're going to go ahead and start with Long Rifle. This is a soap I've only used. This particular scent I've only used once. Brown Bess. It's a pipe smoke and leather. Kind of a cool scent, if I do say so myself. And we're just going to load. And I won't necessarily talk through this, but I'll make some comments as necessary. You can see that it loads up pretty well. It's the classic 3-inch tin that people like Chad don't like, because you get this kind of mess. But you can see, just watching it, that it loads up well, and you get plenty of the proto lather. So that's enough for today's experiment, and I'll just go ahead and rinse that off so that I can put that away later. A salsa bowl. And you can see that it whips up fairly quick. Part of that is synthetic knot, part of that is just the type of soap that it is. I started with kind of a wet surface, not so wet brush, but not dry either. Okay, so now we have an example of the lather. This is kind of a lather hog type of brush, so there's plenty in there, but we can see that it's dense and wet. At this stage, it's super slick. This is the kind of thing, kind of texture that I might use. Like all the soaps that we're going to do some fancy paintbrush strokes, and you get to see different kind of lather. Okay, so that is Long Rifle, and it's really it's just a basic tallow soap. There's not a lot of other stuff going on with it. If I'm not a review necessarily, but if I'm to say anything that I don't like about it, is the scent is relatively weak. Okay, next up we're going to do Victory Shaving Company. This is the one that is made with soy wax and includes olive oil. My experience working with soy wax is it changes the way the soap behaves during the cook. So if you're watching it being made, it's going to turn out a little different. Okay. We're going to start with a shaken out brush. It's a bloomed surface with just kind of a little bit of liquid left on top. The Saponificio Veracino method. Okay. This is Champagne Lady. It has menthol in it as well. To answer Chad's question about does menthol make a soap soft, that's not a soft soap. Okay. Wow, that one smells a lot better. Okay. And we're not going for a full-on shave here, we're just doing a demo. Waterproof label, gotta love that. Yeah, let's double check. I think this is a tallow soap as well, just no tallow at all. So it's veggie with soy and olive oil. So for all purposes, if you're a tallow loving shave meister, this soap should really turn you off because it's vegan and has olive oil on the label. How many soaps have you not bought because it has olive oil on the label? I'm going to admit to skipping over an awful lot. Okay, didn't have a problem lathering it. Trying to make it appear as wet as possible, so this is how I might shave with it. So, similar in feel to the long rifle, maybe not as heavy in the hand. Feels a similar density, but possibly not as heavy in the hand. But there we are. Still a lovely lather. Smells good. Scent strength is definitely better on this one. So we've done a very basic tallow. And basic but lovely. Honestly, Long Rifle is a pretty awesome soap. Anytime I use it, I wonder why I have other soaps. Okay. Next up is going to be the Williams Tonsorial. This is old, probably 1970s. Straight up tallow mixed with a little bit of my leftover DR Harris Marlboro. Got some, I don't know, probably boar hair or something in there. One thing I want you to notice is the color of the bloom water, kind of how it's taken on a yellowy type of look. Excellent smell. My God, this is one of my favorite. Vintage soaps do this. If you bloom this, and this is the first time you've used it, save that water. Put it in a little jar. When you bloom again, save that water. This is incredible. Okay. Right. Okay, before we get started on this, I'm going to pause, get my hands dry so they're not slippery. And as if nothing had ever happened, we're back. We're going to go ahead and load this. I want you to notice I didn't load very long. If that was 10 seconds, that was 10 seconds too long. You can see a little area lather, proto lather building up there. I had to rinse my hands because the water that I poured off, the bloom water that I poured off, made them so slippery. I'm going to go ahead and scoop that up. So we're good. I don't waste that stuff. And like I said, not a lather demo. I'm not trying to say do what I'm doing. I don't bowl lather normally. I haven't bowl lathered for quite some time. But this is actually working out pretty good. I'm in my son's bathroom, stealing his salsa container. Okay. The more I work it, the denser it becomes. Okay. So we got a nice lather, possibly a little airier than the long rifle. Has that same unctuous, I guess is the word that people use, feel to it. It's not a fatty feel by any means, but it's slightly different and luxurious. So you can see that just working it just keeps on going. Okay. Williams Tonsorial, a vintage soap. Good luck finding it. I try to get as much of it as I can when I see it. It smells good. Okay. Next, we're going to do the the shaving shop. I'm not even sure the shaving shop exists anymore. This is the Deal Maker. It's a kind of a cool scent. Picked it up in the eBay lot 3 years ago. Tried to give it to my son. He didn't use it. Took it back so I could use it. I'm not using it. Okay. We've had it blooming. This is one that definitely smells good. Okay. Shake off the excess water after pouring bloom water. Bigger tub makes it easier to load. This is the first bigger tub we've used this evening. Possibly even a demonstration of how important it is to have a bigger tub, because you can see already that the loading is different. It's a faster load, typical of a vegan type of soap. And look at that brush, it's filling up. It's tacky. Alright, now that lather is building thick and fast. Seems to take on a little bit of water well. Having used this particular soap, I can tell you it looks great and underperforms. It's not to say don't try it if you can find it. It is a cool scent, but it's a little different. So looking at this one has slightly larger bubbles in it. Don't know if that's easy to see. Honestly, it feels very much like the Champagne Lady, the Victory Shaving Company. Very similar, even similar scent strength. Incredible feel, but look at how much lather we have. So the next one that we're going to deal with is the Honeybee soaps. This is the glycerin melt and pour with shea butter and bentonite clay. Now there are different glycerin bases that can be purchased from wholesalers. Some are specifically made for shaving, or they say shaving on it. I'm assuming that that's the kind of base this is. Honeybee Sue Smith, I think her name is. She's been around a long time. She was probably one of the earlier artisan shave soap makers. I think she made regular soap and then started making shave soap. So I really can't tell you what's in this other than it's a glycerin base with shea butter. Having bloomed it, don't know if it's easy to see, but the bloom water's taken on a color. And that water is slick. So, kind of a cool scent. Let me quiet here so we can kind of listen and watch. Not a soft soap. See if you can hear that. I'm mashing pretty hard. I want to get a good load. I only test lathered this soap once, used it once, and that's what I noticed is I get a load, get proto lather, but I'm able to get a perfectly clean surface. So we'll work with that. Now glycerin or melt and pour soaps don't get a lot of love, but one thing that's absolute about it, it's evident from moment one, is its stronger scent. Alright, now, believe it or not, there's actually more lather in that brush than it looks like, but I'm going to go back, re-wet the surface, and build a lather on the top, because the soap is hard as heck. Think triple milled, and that ensures that I get enough product. So. All right. One thing I can say here is it feels a little thirstier. It's not immediately as wet as the others. Could be that I loaded more than I thought, or it could be the bentonite clay, or it could be glycerin kind of holding the water. But you can see that our lathers come together nonetheless. A little bit more work, and I'm sure that one of two things: using the puck every day might make it faster, and just getting better at understanding it might make it better or faster. So feel definitely slick, super slick to the feel right now. Okay, kind of held this one off until the end because it has a generous amount of shea butter, which I know feels good in the hand because I test lathered last night. You can see the lathers, you know, when you work it enough, you get a similar consistency. Nothing, you know, terribly different anyway. But it took a little bit more work. Okay, so it's a little different. Smells good. So if you find a scent that you like, which a lot of the glycerin soaps use fragrance oils that are make it easy to have a lot of scents. Definitely feels slick in the hand. Rinsing the hand on this one, the shea butter is noticeable enough to leave a little bit of a lotiony, fatty type of feel. Okay, and as promised, we're going to see about doing one more, and that's the sterling. This one I bloomed and then poured the water off. My son's been using this. He needs to learn how to take better care of his cheap little brush. It's shedding. So we're going to start with a relatively dry synthetic. This is a tea tree. Gave it to him because his face breaks out, and this seems to work. You can see fast load. Okay, this one has lanolin in it. I believe this might be the only lanolin soap sitting around here. Reason I wanted to include sterling is versus possibly the Williams Tonsorial is more like it, but versus any of the other tallow based, sterling lists tallow first, stearic acid second. It is a tallow soap, and I would say Williams is a tallow soap. The others have tallow in it. So creamy. Took on a lot of water, dipped twice, and it's explosive. You can see I didn't load terribly long to get this. And now that my hand has been lathered on many times, it's kind of hard to tell you that it feels thick or unctuous, heavy. Okay, but this one kind of hits on all areas. It's slick. You know, when I'm running the brush back and forth, there's no resistance. It's just sliding on itself, nice and wet. So there it is, 6 soaps. Not a lather demo, but a demo of different kind of lather. Hope that helps make you feel better about one or the other. Or, you know, to me they all look very similar, but when they perform on the face they are different. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed it.